जिंदगी में कलर है, उसी तरह से हम कलर को कंटिन्यूटी रखेंगे। लेकिन आशीष भाई आ चुके हैं, आशीष शेलार जी, हम उनका स्वागत करते हैं, जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करें। आंध्रा के आमदार और उनके नेतृत्व में, उनके मार्गदर्शन में ये जो CHS सेल काम कर रहा है अकबर जीवानी जी के रूप में, मैं चाहूंगा CA तरुण भैया, आनंद गुप्ता जी प्लीज वेलकम, विनोद जी। आशीष जी के बारे में मतलब किसी परिचय के मोहताज नहीं आशीष जी, और रीडेवलपमेंट हाउसिंग सेक्टर से रिलेटेड अभी अभी हाल ही में कलेक्टर लैंड पर बड़ा अच्छा, काफी दिल से मानते हैं कलेक्टर लैंड हो, रीडेवलपमेंट हो, और ये उठाते हैं विधानसभा में, अपनी सरकार क्यों नहीं हो। तो इनके लिए जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करें। इनको इनवाइट करूं इसलिए एक लाइन है कि आशीष जी कि कुछ रास्ता लिख देगा, कुछ रास्ता लिख देगा, कुछ मैं लिख दूंगा, कुछ रास्ता लिख देगा, कुछ मैं लिख दूंगा, तुम लिखते जाओ मुश्किलें, मैं मंजिल लिख दूंगा। तो आशीष जी ऐसे हैं कि जनता का जब मुश्किल होता है, दर्द होता है, वो समझ के विधानसभा हो और या लोकसभा, मतलब वहां पे भी जाने की उम्मीद है, और रोड की सड़क तक भी वो फाइट करते हैं। ऐसे आशीष शेलार जी का मैं स्वागत करता हूं, और इस तरह के रीडेवलपमेंट के अवेयरनेस के कैंपेन जारी रखें। प्लीज वेलकम, हमें मार्गदर्शन करें, एक स्पीच दें आशीष जी।
Good evening to everybody. I am really happy that today my colleague Mr. Jivani and other colleagues of the association has organized such a wonderful program which is specifically dedicated for the issues related to the redevelopment. As we know that Mumbai has grown and developed over the decades. The phase-wise, if you'll see, when Britishers era was there, obviously the development was restricted to some part of Mumbai, which is the South Mumbai, and some of the structures of the suburbs. I restrict myself from praising too much because some may have the impression or some may carry an impression that Britishers' work was better. I don't want to say that. But untold, unsaid, you all must have already got to know, for the simple reason, those was the era where the water logging was not carrying into the building compounds. The reason simple was the Asiatic Library's first step was a town hall datum line which was above the sea mean level, and all the buildings construction needs to be done above that. So obviously the mean sea level is maintained, and the ingress from the sea to the landwards will not take place, and whatever the rain pours, the water will automatically go to the sea. Unfortunately, we could not follow what Britishers also taught us in that fashion. Then the era came where, as the Hindi film industry has developed their storyline, the era came of grabbing the open lands by the underworld people. And therefore you must have seen many films where Amitabh Bachchan became the savior from all the gundas, and Akbar Anthony and whatnot things. You all are aware about things. Same way, then the era period comes where the mill workers was struggling to get their own houses, and it has been replicated to the film industry, and then we have seen many places how the crime, criminals, underworlds has took place because of the textile mills in this city got closed and people were searching for the house. And then the era came where we are living now, is the redevelopment of the slum. Because affordability of the house becomes a dream over the period of 60-70 years. Whenever those who are fortunate, the original Mumbaikars, I am not naming a caste, religion or anything, that they were settled here from the very beginning. But many more who had come from the other part of the state or other part of the country, till 70s there was a provision that they could have the facility to afford a tenantable houses, pagdi houses, where the cost could be very easy for them to live. After 80s, around 80s, 70s, 80s, providing and construction of this rental housing became zero, and the people do started staying into the slums. And then the policy of the slum came, which all are aware about. I just give the brief of the entire Mumbai. Today our subject is very specifically about the redevelopment of the cooperative housing societies. We all are governed under the Act which has been enacted federally at national level, and on the same direction the state laws has been enacted. What was needed then, when it has been decided to have a separate law and a power given to the formation of the group of people to have and maintain the societies, this Cooperative Act applies to the all kind of cooperative activities, be it a pathpedi, be it a bank, be it a farmers society, to many other things. In 2015, when the state amendment came and I became an MLA with the blessings of Bandra Khar Santa Cruz people, I saw that there is no special chapter for the cooperative housing societies. Their issues, our issues and our, what we say, the problems are little different from the sugar mill or milk cooperative society or many other. So first time in the Act we have a separate chapter for the cooperative housing societies. I feel from there the structured issues are getting addressed. Still fully it has not been addressed still. As we know that the redevelopment and development is permissible under MRTP and Development Control Rule, DCR. DCPR 2034 has been made little simple. Earlier it was very specific. If you go to the island Mumbai, that if you want to go for a redevelopment and if you want to have an incentive FSI scheme for your redevelopment, then you need to be out of these three categories ABC, which is depending on the age of the building. Those who are prior to 1940, those are between 40 to 50, those are before 60, and accordingly in island city there was schemes developed under 33(7). But the same was not applicable for the suburb. I did argue the same into the assembly with the simple logic saying that the DCR first came in 1991, and at that time DCR 1991 was recognized structure old as prior to 1940, 50 and 60. That means something more than 30, 40, 50 years above is supposed to be the old and liable for the redevelopment where you are going to get additional incentive FSI. But from 91, when I argued the same, it was 2015, it is absolutely more than 23, 24 years has gone, and we are still stick to the definition of DCR 1991, which says 30, 40, 50 years old structure is old, but we have already gone 24 years down the line. So what would be the situation of the buildings which may not look like a dilapidated or dangerous, but which needs to go for redevelopment and they want their facilities? The DCPR 2034 made it very simple, and I am thankful to Honorable then Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis ji that he made it very simple in DCPR 2034, if anybody can correct me if I am wrong, that the society and building which is old enough, about 30 years, they are liable for redevelopment. So now this ABC category 40, 50 need not to be there. Those who want to develop or redevelop, they can go 30 years back and they have completed, they are liable for the same. And then you are getting the avail the facility of TDR, FSI and many other things. Apart from that, obviously, it is indeed a challenge for many cooperative housing societies, especially in Bandra Khar and even Santa Cruz, that the old law of CRZ was catching the issue where the redevelopment of this society which are near seaside in CRZ was not allowed to develop. Now I am not taking you too long, but you all are aware about, then there was an allegation and a story that in that regime there was a Jayanti tax used to be there, where Jayanti Natarajan was a minister. And when you pay a Jayanti tax, then only you can get a relaxation in CRZ, which was a 500 meter from the sea. Now we are happy to announce that, and we all are availing this facility, and that's why I have seen in Bandra you will go around. Now the redevelopment is at boom, because the Prime Minister Mr. Modi changed the circular and this gap of 500 meter has been reduced to 50 meters. And at Bandra near Mahim Causeway, that has been declared as a bay, and therefore the rules of the sea doesn't apply from that side. So the second part, apart from getting this facility, the building about 30 years is redevelopable, and now the CRZ relaxation. The third point, still it is happening, that is the dangerous and dilapidated structures, and specifically which is owned by the private owner. In that case, if the private owner doesn't want to redevelop or develop, and the tenants want to do the same, we are at mercy of the landlord, because he will wait jolly well till the building gets collapsed, and he will not have the what you can say liability for redevelopment and settle the tenants. So the last assembly session we did move a private member bill where we have proposed to amend the BMC Act, where BMC Act should give a provision that if the structure of the building has been declared as a dangerous and dilapidated and it needs to be vacated, and if it is owned by a private owner and the private owner is not doing his liability of redevelopment, then the authority should be given for the group of tenants by forming a society. They should be given a power to redevelop their own building, and the landlord share will be kept into the what you can say a cell where the BMC can deal with it. Now that is under the final leg. So I am trying to explain you that how, as per the era, the film's storyline changed and the DCR's logics got changed. So this is a everyday process. Apart from there is an issue of people who are staying in the funnel zone. They cannot go above, because for national purpose of airways, airplanes or our airports, they have to maintain the height. Had they not been into the same funnel zone, they would have got all the facilities which you and me can get. So what can be given to them? Number one. Number two, there are neighborhoods which has been declared as a heritage. Now for the national cause it needs to be protected. Then how to satisfy their will and wish to redevelop and make the money out of it, or it's their own right. So the concept of heritage TDR and funnel TDR has come. This is also on its final leg. There is the issue of the societies which are placed on the collector's land. As mentioned by the organizers, that I am not explaining in the full, if you are aware about it, that the collector's land ownership, landowners society, for every reason, for transfer of the flats to everything, they need to go to the collector's office, and they have to deal under the table more than above the table. So that needs to be addressed, and there should be a system where there could be a transparency. And forget transparency, those who want to make it on ownership, let's allow them to do the same, because किसी ने सही कहा है, जमीन ये किसी का टुकड़ा नहीं है, सब भूमि गोपाल की है, सब भूमि वहाँ रहने वाले की है, वो तो एक सिस्टम है। अब वैसे भी स्लम्स वाले करते ही हैं, तो कलेक्टर लैंड पर ऑफिशियल सोसाइटी के लोगों को आप क्यों उसके लिए तकलीफ देते हो? So with a great fight, we come up with the policy where the rate proposed was not, what do you say, affordable, and therefore now the new rule has come up where 15% of the land cost, right?
10% really, 15% पहले before.
Let me complete. अभी भी मेरी इतनी उम्र नहीं हुई. Was proposed for redevelopment by self-redevelopment. We did reduce the same, and now it has come to 10% of the ready reckoner rate, where you can make ownership of your own society, or land rather, and you can redevelop. Obviously now entire Bandstand, entire Mount Mary, and many portion of the Shastri Nagar, Santa Cruz, if they are here, I am appealing them, avail the facilities of the same. With the same logic we proposed and got approved one more thing, that the societies which are going to go for self-redevelopment, obviously the question comes where the capital will come from. One way say that the all members should agree for it and they should contribute for the same, but who will contribute initially? So that also we are trying to address, and we have made housing department to an arrangement with the Mumbai District Cooperative Bank, where Mumbai District Cooperative Bank can give the loan as a capital investment with a very less rate, and that can be used for the redevelopment. I think this process of development and redevelopment is so versatile, so multidimensional, and therefore such type of camps can only help the people who are sitting at the government. Nobody can say in Mumbai that I am fully conversant with the entire situation and the address and the redressal for the same. It is a continuing process, and that's the reason I have requested Mr. Jivani and all the colleagues of the Federation also to organize such camp at Bandra West, to begin with Bandra West because this is my constituency, and therefore which we can take along to many part of the Bombay. So this is the beginning, friends. I am not claiming that all the issues has been resolved or will be resolved, but I can assure you one thing, being a public representative, MLA from Bandra and a lawyer, I am available for you as a free lawyer without any charge to have any kind of conversation and argument with the government authorities. And obviously one more point has remained, because you stand up then I realize, is the cooperative registrar. The cooperative registrar also needs to be in sync with all these redevelopment friendly issues. The corruption lies there also. So I think there also those who are in Bandra, Khar, Santa Cruz, they can approach me. Whatever best way and facilities I can use, I will surely try and see that the issues of zero corruption and working, we will try and address for the same, and we will continue to do the same. Thank you so much. I am sorry I bumped in and I have to attend one more meeting. So allow me to go. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
आशीष जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you very much.